everybody, welcome back to my anime react channel, Gizanime. Today we're going to be reading The Return of the Disaster Class Hero, Chapter 10 and 11. Last chapters we left off with our boy Geon stepping right in front of and pummeling Yang Wei into submission until Yang Wei finally relents and basically says, okay, you are Geon. As I stated last video, I'm not really sure if our boy Geon is actually going to kill Yang Wei, or if maybe Hugo Otters is going to step in and stop, the final blow and try to talk him down, or if something else will happen. Maybe some other disaster will end up, spawning in the area that they have to take care of together maybe, or at the very least, Geon will have to handle. And that'll give, Yang Wei time to jet up out of there. That said, we also do know that Hugo Otters is there. So, the possibility of Hugo Otters and Geon meeting up is pretty high right now. And given the fact that Jimin just told Hugo that the man they were with said he was Geon, pretty much confirms to Hugo that Geon is in fact alive. So he will definitely be stepping inside of that building. Whether or not it's to save Yang Wei or not is to be seen. So with that said, let's get on to these chapters, see what happens, and I'll see you there. Alright everybody, here we go, chapter 10. How did he get out of there alive? Our boy Yang Wei is shaking in his boots, missing almost all of his teeth. Hopefully they have some kind of heal spell so he could fix all that back up if Geon doesn't kill him, because if Geon kills him, I guess that's kind of irrelevant. Are you really Lee Geon? This guy is in such a state of denial. He's going back and forth. How did he get out of there? Meaning he thinks he's Geon. Are you really Geon? And last chapter, just back and forth. It is him. It isn't him.
Make up your mind.
Jeez, you finally recognize me. With all the scars on his body from the sword attack, that kind of gives him the old Geon look. So maybe with these scars now, Yang Wei can kind of see that resemblance there, That's right. I'm really back. Anyway, on with the butt whooping. Just what happened? Okay, most of the scars are gone. Okay, we're still in the fight, right? What happened for even your weapons to smell like shit? That kind of restoration is impossible, even for Aquarius healers. Yeah, all the scarring is pretty much gone already. And he's still pelting them with the swords even while they're talking. Or at least that's what it looks like. You've had a near-death experience. The conditions have been met. The skill 13th sense has been unlocked. Oh, thanks. I've gotten stronger because of you. Wait a moment. Wait a moment. You've had a near-death experience. So Yang Wei's attack, from what this is saying, almost killed Geon?
Now I'm impressed.
Wow. That's impressive. And that leads me back to what I stated last chapter, that I find it really hard to believe unless you jump through some really horrendous mental hoops that Yang Wei couldn't beat the Spider Queen. Because if that attack was able to almost kill Geon, there's no way in hell that it wouldn't have killed the Spider Queen.
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
And there's no way in hell that Yang Wei wouldn't have tried to use that. If he was pressed against the wall, he would have whipped it out. And from what they're stating, Yang Wei ran because he couldn't beat her. And they tried to pretty much like level this place to bury the fact that he couldn't do that. But if you really think about everything that we're being told, that shouldn't be the case. So we're supposed to ignore the fact that he almost beat Geon but couldn't beat the Spider Queen, so that Geon's like massive slaughter against the Spider Queen looks that much more impressive.
In fact, that's a bunch of malarkey.
So he has a 13th sense that has been unlocked due to the fact that he was almost killed by Yang Wei, but oh man, that's okay. Now then, how about I try out a little something? And that also reminds me of like the Saiyans from Dragon Ball Z, because every time they face like near-death battles, they get stronger. And it's also kind of similar with Kenpachi from Bleach, because it's stated that every time he almost loses, he comes back stronger as well. So, like with his fight against Ichigo, when he was laying there pretty much on death's door, he revived, or was healed and came back even stronger. So, similar to those kind of things. What's more, Geon steps on his chest. The god Ares is astonished by Li Geon. Yeah, I think we're all astonished by Li Geon at this point. He whimpers, asking why Li Geon is still alive. The god Ares trembles, exclaiming that this is impossible.
Nothing is impossible!
So, hold on a minute. We've got a literal god, and the man is trembling and sweating. How does a god sweat? What in the world? He's astonished, he whimpers, and he trembles. This guy is going through all kinds of emotions all at once right now. The god Ares disappears with a flurry of curses.
Coward.
What the hell? Why is a god disappearing? Maybe because he knew it was pointless from the beginning. And we got Geon here just slapping Yang Wei around like a rag doll. I'm quite merciful, so I'll only make you feel how much pain I felt. This is a smile full of mercy. No, this is a smile full of sedition and sadistic glee at what's about to be unleashed. There's no mercy behind that wild as hell look right there. What in the world just happened here? Okay, so all of them were in there walking around, looking at all the dead calamities, littering the ground floor. Hugo Otters doing pretty much the same. This energy is Yang Wei? This was definitely Geon's doing. Even if he's made a mess like this is... something's wrong. I can feel Yang Wei Nam's energy from here. Isn't his energy too weak to say that he's alive? Just what happened here? Huh? Could you all back off for a second? Okay. I think Hugo Otters senses that Geon is right there. and is on the offensive.
Oh!
Smashes the ground. Going down. Okay. So I guess he didn't, since he was right there. Leon, that bastard, seriously? Okay. So from what it looks like, Gion pounded him into like an inch from death, if even that, and just left him. So, just what kind of mess are you going to make next? Did he go to his house? Is he gonna wreck his house or take back his artifacts? Okay. Maybe it's that's what it is. So the divine artifact that Yang Wei stole from me is in here, right? Yeah. So he's gonna go get back his stuff. Which, okay, that's fair. Okay, so we've got some staff looking like thing. A ridiculous bust of Yang Wei. What looks like it's made out of pure gold. Ha, that bastard. He's so obsessed with looking rich that he'd flaunt his wealth like this. I can smell my divine artifact over there. You guys got a good nose. But what's with all these fakes? Interesting. So I wonder if they know they're fakes though, or if like they've got the real deal somewhere else, because that would make sense, right? You make replicas of your weapons, but you don't keep the real thing out of plain view so somebody could snatch it up. You get that in a vault somewhere safe, but you still have what's essentially the same thing out in display so people know what it looks like without actually seeing the real thing.
He's got a point.
Those clothes look like he took them from my house, but all the weapons are fake. Oh. A toothpick used by Li Gion. Okay. I finally found it. My precious...
Bitch!
What? That's an artifact? The toothpick? That's hilarious. It's a thief! All guards move to Area B. I mean, if we want to get technical, Yang Wei's the thief. Raise your hands. Put down the item and surrender peacefully. Yeah, that's gonna happen. I don't wanna. Okay, are we gonna see what this thing does? He just kind of snaps it down. And... creates like some kind of slashing wind type attack, it looks like. Some kind of gale. Like a tornado almost in there. You really got to use something you're familiar with. Everybody's screaming in the background. Don't you think so too? Nice to see you again, Lime. Oh. You've discovered the divine artifact, the mud ball that creates all. Production-oriented divine artifact. Traits shape-shifting. So the toothpick is a shape-shifting creature. Interesting. You have met the conditions to unlock the skill Creation Workshop. A 1.5 square meter workshop has been created. The default scope of Creation Workshop has been unlocked. Production Workshop, Repairs, Strengthening Workshop, Disassembly Workshop. So, okay. he's been given a workshop, I guess, to create things, creation workshop. So he's able to make things within this thing. And I guess this is like some kind of subspace within the world, or I don't know if it's an actual building. We'll have to continue to go see what it's about. But it allows him to make things. It allows him to repair things and to strengthen items. So, like the divine artifacts that they have, is he able to strengthen those artifacts and also to repair them? Or is he only able to repair and strengthen things that he's made? And then you have the disassembly workshop, which, you know, basically you break down the items, I guess, that you've used to make said thing. So when he does that, does he break everything down into the raw materials that they were before something was made? Like, let's say he disassembles a shovel with a wooden handle. Would he be able to break it down into like a lump of metal, the wooden beam that the handle was created out of, and like maybe separate parts for like any extra nuts, bolts, and things of that nature, that screws to, you know, screw the handle into place, etc., things of that nature? Or is disassembling only he breaks them down, so he's got the shovel head, the handle, and that's pretty much it, with like the screws in his hand? Like, does it go to the basic materials, or does it go to what it was before, just broken down into bits and pieces? With the creation of the imprinting skill, the traits of the mud ball that creates all may be granted. With the creation of the imprinting skill, the traits of the mud ball that creates all may be granted. So this creature artifact thing that Geon has, is this saying he's able to use its skills himself? How about we start heading out now? Also, did that thing get bigger? The size of his hand, and now it's like all over his shoulder. I think he got a little bigger. Huh? The energy from a divine artifact of Ares can be felt strongly. It'd be a bit disappointing if I leave empty-handed, though. Some more of that looting time. Fun farming time. Farming. Okay, am I too late?
Yes!
Everybody's screaming, running out. Walk on! And the entire building looks like it's burning now. And I don't recall Geon going that far, unless he's like trashing the place where these artifacts are. Like more guards are coming after him. Geon, please. Oh, run! There was an explosion! Ah, I'm starting to get hungry. This guy is looking like Santa Claus here with this huge bag of stuff behind him now. Like, he just didn't grab an artifact. He probably wiped or swiped all of them. And then you got like this guy just hobbling behind with like this broke leg and just crutches. Staring at Geon. Geon! Huh? Oh, Taxo! Geon, you bastard! Look at him crying. You bastard. Guess you're a friend after... What happened here? Did he like sideswipe him or just run right by him? Oh, I get it. I get it. This genius sees like this broken bandage guy and thinks that's Geon over this healthy version. Because they still got the mentality that he's like this really beat up, scarred individual. Just totally ignoring the fact that he was literally dragging that huge bag of artifacts behind his back, though, so... If you were alive, you should have come to me immediately. What are you doing right after coming back? Like, even the fact that this artifact thing is on his shoulder, that should have been a pretty obvious giveaway. And the fact that he's the one that called him Toxo. Like, is this guy not paying any attention? Is your leg alright? Your body isn't even in good condition. Where are you hurrying off to, you idiot? Oh, the artifact is trembling. Can't you remember a guy's face, you dumbass? Go! A perfect drop kick. You want to get your ass beat? There's something else you should be confused over. I'll be going then. I'm out of here. Huh? That's... Now he notices the artifact. Geon's divine artifact, the slime. Wait, could you really be? Do you need to get your ass beat too to get your head screwed on straight, Tuxo? So, going back to just a moment ago when he started running at him, Leon said that he really does remember. So, you bastard, guess you're a friend after all, obviously. So, it took very little to convince Geon that Hugo Otters wasn't against him by just like this immediate reaction, which leads me to believe that this whole time in Geon's head, you know, he couldn't fathom at least this one person that he knew that was his friend betraying him. So all that bravado or anger, you know, talking about how he was even going to kill him, was just for show to basically maybe hype himself up to get through like the castle even easier, or the citadel that he was stuck in, the tower, you know. So obviously he's already forgiven him. And also on top of that, there's the fact that he again didn't kill Yang Wei. Like, he could have literally killed him. Like, he could have been a headless body when Hugo Otters walked in. So he's extremely angry at, you know, who betrayed him, but he doesn't know really who it is. That person will feel the brunt of his wrath for sure. But until that time, I think he's going to play it a lot smarter than we give him credit for, or at least I initially did myself. Because even though he has obvious anger issues, he's a lot more level-headed than he appears at face value. So everything he says out of anger should only be taken with a grain of salt until the Geon, and then he runs in for the actual hug of the actual Geon. So you were alive. I mean, look at all the tears and the snot flowing. Like, the fact again that we know that Sun Jia is like such a fanboy of Geon that Hugo must have been telling all kinds of stories about him, about the adventures they went on, about like the love he had for his friend, the admiration that he had for him, and things of that nature. And like just this face right here, this shows at how sad he's been that he lost him so long ago. And to have him back like this, to find out he's still alive, it's like if somebody's child went into a coma for 20 years and finally woke up after that. That's pretty much what we're getting here. You're really Geon, right? Hits him square in the chest again, because, again, with the back and forth. Are you Geon? You're Geon. Are you Geon? The hell are you hugging me out of nowhere for? Out of nowhere. Haha, you really are Geon. The goddess Sagittarius, pollen has appeared. Huh? So this is what Hugo Otter's god looks like. Got like this huge lyre on his back. think that's what that thing's called. Looking rather regal himself. His eyes looking like the sun. We've got Hugo Otters here looking really confused and shocked. And Geon just like, oh, this is so boring. Okay. Something's going on though. Why is he showing up here? Alright, and that's the chapter. So, takeaways from this chapter. Yang Wei is definitely not a match for Li Geon. Which again, I think is kind of weird. Well, I say he's not a match, but apparently the attack almost killed Li Geon. But his resolve, I guess, or the strength of whatever creature or deity it is that's protecting him, that's granting him the power, the snake thing, might have been a little more powerful than Yang Wei's attack. And due to this insane healing factor that he had, or has, Li Geon went from the brink of death to breathing in probably a matter of seconds, and then his body just started to heal after that. So I wonder if, I don't know if he's immortal, but I wonder if he's really close to immortal. You know, if he has Wolverine or Deadpool level regeneration to where somebody could hack off his arm and it would just grow right back type of stuff. Because we see him quickly healing his body from the massive scars that he got. And it looks rather pristine after that. You know, there's no evidence of any kind of scarring at all. So there is that. The other takeaway is that Li Geon has this really weird, not really sure how to word it, expression, this mindset for his friends. So when Hugo Otters goes to actually hug him, he just basically knocks him out or hits him in his stomach and says, you know, why are you just randomly hugging me? And I'm sure he knows that it's not a random hug. This is someone who he hasn't seen for 20 years, and he's just bawling his eyes out because he can't fathom the fact that you're back, you know, that Geon's back. So he's hugging him. And any normal, typical person would just hug back, you know, reciprocate the love or the admiration or the feelings. Whereas Li Geon's get the hell up off of me. And I know there are people out there like that, but at the same time, the way Geon goes about it is not the same way, because there are people that don't like to be touched, and, you know, they let you know that. This is not necessarily that type of thing. This is more like Li Geon is embarrassed, is what I'm getting at, I guess, at him hugging him like that. And instead of telling him just to move, he slugs him in the chest. So, a little weird. And we also see that Li Geon gets an ability called the 13th Sense. It doesn't go over what the ability is, so that's kind of interesting. Or at least I didn't catch anything that said what it was. We also note that here, the god Ares just is so shocked at Geon's power that he flees the scene. That he understands, I guess, that there's nothing he can do against Geon, even imbuing his power onto Yang Wei. Now we know that this was only a part of this god's power, though, because that's stated in the last chapter. So I don't know if his full wrath would have any effect or not. I would assume it would, since Geon with that attack was on death's door, pretty much. So, I mean, the full wrath of this deity probably could kill him right now. So I'm not sure why he ran, unless, he can't really directly interfere at all, and he can't imbue any more power into Yang Wei, because Yang Wei's body, being human still, can only handle so much power. It's just a theory. And the last thing that I really want to note of in this chapter is this part right here, where it says, with the creation of the imprinting skill. So I'm not sure what the imprinting skill is, unless it's like with animals, you know, like with baby chickens or ducks or geese, you know, not really chickens, I guess, but ducks and geese for sure. When they hatch, whatever they see first is pretty much what they imprint on. So that's like mom or dad. So I'm wondering if, like, when this thing first came alive, that it imprinted on Geon because Geon was the first thing he saw. So this thing thinks that Geon is mom or dad, and because of that, everything that this thing is able to do somehow inadvertently, or that somehow Lee Geon is able to do what it does, or to command it to do what he wants it to do. Because it says the traits of the mud ball that creates all may be granted. And I'm assuming the traits mean abilities that this thing has or powers that it has may be granted. So granted to Geon is what I'm assuming it means. So again, anything that this little pink glob of almost Kirby can do, Geon can do. So that's pretty interesting. So, again, you know, he meets up with Hugo Otters at the end, so next chapter we'll probably get into a little bit of revelation about what has transpired in the last 20 years. You know, Geon will probably ask him, you know, what's been going on, what happened, things of that nature. Do you know who tried to assassinate me, essentially, or any guesses as to who it is, so I can go after them next. And, yeah, we'll get into that in the next chapter, and I'll see you there. Alright everybody, here we go. Chapter 11. So again, this huge deity that just appeared out of nowhere at the end of last chapter. Nothing really to speak on about that so far because nothing really happened. He just like appeared. Okay. So probably Hugo Otters. Yeah. Why are you coming out here? Right, and then we have the deity looking at him like maybe someone would look at someone like, is that really him? Yeah, we got the maybe? Apollo, the divine god of Sagittarius, is questioning the survival of Legion. Okay. So he's not necessarily questioning who it is because he knows it's Legion. He's questioning how in the world he lived. Apollo, the divine god of Sagittarius, is requesting to check if it is actually Legion. Okay, so it's both. This deity is just in shock as everybody else. Like, what in the world? How? Apollo, the divine god of Sagittarius, says something will happen if I shoot him with a flaming arrow and aims at Legion. Alright, let me read that again. Apollo, the divine god of Sagittarius, says something will happen if I shoot him with a flaming arrow and aims it at Legion. So, something will happen, but what will happen? This divine god... So he's trying to shoot Geon with a flaming arrow. And obviously Hugo Otters stayed there trying to stop him. Why is that bastard aiming at someone the moment he pops up? It's okay, as long as you're fine. Yo, what is this? Giving him the dirt face. What's okay? I need to pay you back from now.
Well, that's fucking not good.
Payback? I will kill you. Good luck. What? We back with this again? When I came out of the tower, my house was sold, my will was fixed, and all my rugs are missing.
It wasn't me!
No, wait, Geon. First, let me hit you just once. You already hit him. Wow. to shock her around the world. Because that was probably a really strong punch. This is a big welt on his head now. It is really you, Geon. Thank God. Bastard, he hit me real hard. I found him. This way. Get him. He's the one who stole the relic. Oh yeah, come to think of it, I was being chased. What on earth did you steal? Just a few things. Yeah. Just a couple. Don't tell me that you looted Yang Wei's vault. Yep, I did. Didn't I do well? Give myself a pat on the back. I did a good job stealing from that scumbag. Not like he's going to need it anyway. He's in a hospital. Do well, my ass, you crazy bastard. Haha. Team leader, we'll get him right away. Yeah, right. He's not someone in our caliber. He wouldn't stand a chance since we called someone that matched his monstrosity. Don't tell me. What is this? Alright, did they call one of the other saints? Because I know that they didn't call their boss. Because Yang Wei is knocked out right now. So, who's here? It's here. Some kind of calamity or monster that they control? The household god of Ares, the beast of riches, Pai Shu. Okay. So, basically like the little lamb things that Leon just stomped his foot and made run away in terror. So, this thing is not going to fare any better. The household god of Ares, Pai Shu, has appeared. Warning, all of your riches and relics may be taken. Yeah, okay. Let's out this really strong, monstrous roar. Unphazed, as usual, is Leon. Oh no, the house god of Ares is here too. Geon, let's just throw away the things that you stole from Yang Wei and run.
I think I'll pass.
Yeah, right. Talk so. Just stay still. I'm a man with a plan. Well, that's good to know. Lime sword. Okay. So this thing can turn into whatever he needs. Oh, okay. So this makes sense. This thing is the workshop. And whatever he needs, this thing just instantly creates, spits out, gives to him. And then since he's a slime, I guess he can eat it back, like eat the sword, disassemble it into the rare materials or raw materials that it was. So he will get back like a lump of steel and like, you know, the wrapping here, he'll get that back too, whatever that is, like leather, like a piece of leather, etc. Gotcha. And also, I'm guessing that if this thing isn't strong enough, Li Geon can just shove the sword back inside of him, tell him to make it stronger, and he'll figure out how to make it stronger and spit it back out, and things of that nature. And if it breaks, you know, again, shove it back in him, he'll fix it, spit it back out. Interesting. So it's like one of Rimuru's abilities, where he just creates things out of nowhere. Gotcha. Alright, so we've got a sword. Looks like a pretty small sword. What?
But wait! There's more!
Dagger. Using it against a household god in this state would be tough, but show me your hidden true form. I'm pretty sure that means form. What is that power? Alright, so I'm guessing Leon uses some kind of attack with the dagger. Finally, it's somewhat usable. Holy shit.
What the fuck?
Show me your hidden true form. Now, is this... Fuck me, that looks bad as shit too. Like this, the way they did like the whole handle here and the guard, the hand guard, making it a snake that looks like lightning is arcing out of it through the sword. This thing looks pretty cool. I like this. This looks really nice. But is this what the little slime thing made? And Ligon just like unleashed its power, or did the slime thing make the little dagger and Ligon used his power to enhance it to this? Because that would be interesting to know, because if Ligon enhanced it to this, then he could like take anything probably and turn it into essentially an artifact, because that's literally what this is now. Especially if he plans on using this thing to take down one of the household gods. I'm sure it's extremely powerful. So, is that why they all took his artifacts? Is because he has this little slime thing, though, to help him make artifacts. So, like, Li Gion with this little slime ball here is essentially an artifact making machine, which is how he knows that they're fakes or not, because they're not things that he just went around finding or was granted. They're things he actually made, so he knows what they are and what they aren't. But again, I don't know if Ligion is the one that imbued it with power, or if that thing was, and that was like its fake form before Ligion calls its true form into existence. The relic has awakened through the power of the Master Snake Constellation. Due to the characteristics of the Snake Constellation, Snake Holder, the sword is given the critical strike element. Okay, so I think we're kind of given an answer here. The relic has awakened through the power of the Master Snake Constellation. So I think it wasn't Gion that did it, but whatever deity or creature the snake thing is that is giving Ligion the power somehow enhances things' power. So at face value, what I'm getting is the slime makes the item. Ligion then uses his authority, or his basically he calls upon his deity to imbue power into whatever it is that the slime makes. So in essence, it's like a team effort, because the slime makes it, Gion asks for a boon on said item, and then the god grants the boon on the item. So you've got three different things working in conjunction with each other, because like somebody couldn't take this thing. Yang Wei couldn't take this little pink blob, tell it to make a sword, it makes a sword, and then ask for it to be imbued with the power, because they don't have the connection Gion has to the god. So it takes kind of all three in a sense, because I'm pretty sure like if this deity that grants Gion this power really wanted, he could give, you know, Yang Wei, for example, a weapon of mass power, but he just chooses not to because, again, well, we really don't know, but there's obviously something going on with whatever this deity is and the other saints, gods. So, given the critical strike element, so I guess he gets crits every time this thing hits something. The sword has gotten sharper. The attack damage of the sword has increased. Skill strengthens. This is 13 cents. The weak spots of the enemies are now visible. The path of death is not visible. Okay, so 13 cents allows him to see weak spots in enemies. Gotcha. The path of death is not visible. Oh yeah, I had acquired a new skill. Well then, the 13 cents. I can clearly see it. Okay, so he can see all the weak spots. So he has one on the back of his leg, his wrist, and here. Those are really odd weak spots, but alright. We'll work with it. Alright then, let's wreak some havoc.
Hell yeah!
Are we going in for the attack? That's right, Geon. It was always your method to strike first. You always managed to defeat all the challenges that were thrown at you, even if it appeared to be reckless. Go get him, Geon. I like how Hugo Otters has like no doubts that Geon will win. Geon! So this thing just smashes Geon into the ground, but who knows if that had any effect at all. What are you screaming about? That's unbearably loud. Oh, this is a fat bastard. The stench of his foot nearly killed me. The stench of his foot nearly killed me. Not being crushed into the ground. Then isn't it my turn now? Okay, this household god is in utter shock as Legion severs its arm from its body, sending it flying, the creature screaming out in obvious agony and probably anger as well. Warning, Haishu the Beast of Riches is using its abilities.
We don't care.
Let me tell you something. We don't care.
Geon, unfazed as always. Screaming even more. Haishu is sucking up all the riches in its surroundings. Okay. You wouldn't have been beaten up if you had stayed still. But since you just want to keep fighting, I guess we're just going to have to end you. The characteristics of the Master Snake constellation has been activated. Allow me to hit you lightly just once.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Lightly. Yeah, okay. Characteristics. Snake catch. Okay. Sending this massive looking shockwave. Like a Getsugo Tensho, I think is what the name of the attack is from Ichigo and Bleach. Wow, it is huge too.
That's what she said.
Smashing right into his body. Probably going to cleave this massive thing in half. Okay. So... Alright people, so from what it looks like, this attack started here and just went all the way back into the building, slamming into it, like basically demolishing the entire structure. So hopefully nobody was left inside of there, because they're probably dead. So the attack ripped through the creature all the way past most of the yard into the house, and that was, we gotta go back here. A light hit. Light hit. Yeah, great. Moving on. Hugo Otter's in utter shock. Li Geon just standing there looking sadistic as always. And wow. Okay, I gotta go back up for just a second. Just to see something. Because I think this is where we started from. Somewhere around here. Going up and into the house, through the house, through part of the rest of the yard. And I can't really tell what this is, but this looks like it might be like a pool, a huge pool in the back or something to that effect. Because I almost thought that this was a continuing shot from the previous shot. So this is where the attack would have started from, and we're seeing like a little bit of the dust and smoke and debris, so it's obscured, and the attack traveled all the way up the yard through the house. So if that's the case, this is like, this attack is hitting this way back towards the city. So this isn't where the attack initiated, but this attack was really, really massive for a light hit. All that power, it's the same as how he was in his prime. You have taken down a household god. Your divine god experience points have risen. Would you like to keep Paishu, the Beast of Riches, as your household god? What? I have the ability to control household gods that only the 12 divine gods could. So now he can make that thing his pet. You see him viewing it with his power now? Paishu, the Beast of Riches, has turned into a household god of the snake constellation. Number of current household gods, 1. Yo, look at this thing's puppy dog features now. That said, I bet that with Li Gion imbuing his power into it, even though it looks tame, I bet it's like way stronger now than it was before. Paishu, the Beast of Riches, has decreased in size to be hugged by its master.
That's the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, that's cute. I want one. Oh? Hell yeah, since he's the Beast of Riches, I can use him to store all my treasures. Where did he learn words like that? He turned a household god belonging to other divine gods into his own. What could have happened before his return for him to have gained such an ability? You can give a name to Paishu, who has become your household god. Name? Piggy-bank.
Not cool. Totally lame.
Look on his face. Alright, and that's the chapter. So, some interesting, I guess, takeaways from this chapter is that the Sagittarius god, Apollo, I'm not sure if he's afraid of Legion at this point in time, like Ares is, or if he's just really weary of him and kind of distrusting of who he says he is, not really fully believing him, and at the same time believing him, but still in like this state of shock to where he's like, I can't believe this is him, because if I believe this is him, then I've got to figure out how it is that he survived the tower, and that I just can't wrap my hand around. So I'm just going to disregard him as being the actual Legion for now. And then the rest of the chapter pretty much just revolves around Gion fighting this Paishu thing, which really wasn't much of a fight because he uses his divine artifact summon kid blobby thing, Kirby, sort of Rimuru. Like, this thing has all kinds of abilities that other anime creatures have that I'm aware of, to create a sword, and then uses his divine gods, or not divine gods, and he's not really a deity. I don't know what his thing, for lack of better terms, that grants him this power really is. But he uses it to amp up the sword that his little thing made for him, turning it into this little dagger, into this massive broadsword with this like incredibly looking aesthetic to it. I've got to say, if you made something like this in real life, this handguard alone would probably be so heavy you could probably barely lift it. Like, that's one of the weird things about anime swords, is like they're really not ideal for combat at all. And so he beats this household god with this thing, as well as Yang Wei's house, most of his yard, and quite a few of his subordinates that were in the direct line of path of Li Yion's attack. And then somehow gains the ability to take this household god under his command, naming it Piggy-bank, which is kind of stupid in my opinion. I don't like that. Because after gaining this household god and making it look even more docile than it was before, like it looked pretty monstrous before, but then he gains like also using this Getsu go Tensho type attack was pretty cool as well. Don't know how to pronounce the attack that Ichigo uses in Bleach. But we go from this really docile looking lion type creature with wings, kind of like a chimera, to this puppy. This chimera, lion, puppy thing that's just all kinds of adorable and I need in my life now. So, yeah. But those are the chapters, people. Let me know what you all thought of them. I'm curious to see how many of these household gods our boy Geon ends up collecting throughout the series. That would be kind of cool to see. Geon is pretty much a Pokemon master now. Gotta catch them all. And I will catch you all next time.